Bea Caillet. Wait till you feel the energy of this woman. Very, very passionate, an incredible journey. Bea is from Paris, France. And as early as 8 years old, she felt pain in her leg and her foot. She could not walk sometimes. It went away, it came back. And then in her teenage years, it got drastically worse, where she was feeling pain when she was sitting still. And so she couldn't sleep at night, and it got worse and worse. Eventually they put her on drugs, the pain relief, and then eventually at 25, when she was 25 in the year 2007, she was formally diagnosed with an autoimmune arthritis type disease. And that changed everything, because now she could identify it and she could work with it. Doctors were telling her it was all in her head. They were telling her, change the pillow, and these poor advice. But she turned that completely around. She found out, exactly what foods are causing this. And she got off the medication, pain medication, after 10 years. And now she lives gluten-free and dairy-free. And she has a great blog to try to help those with, similar dietary needs. It's an incredible blog. You have to take a look at it, the recipes she makes. And what she's done now, she quit her job. She had the equivalent of being in a tenured position in the French government. And she quit it to do this now and to go on this journey to help others. She got her certificate at Le Cordon Bleu, London, in plant-based cooking. And it's just a great, great story. Wait till you feel her passion. It's just a great conversation with Bea Caillet. Thanks for listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz. People ask me, how did I lose 130 pounds? The quick answer is always discipline. I started my business, wasn't paying attention to my health, was eating too much, drinking too much sweets. My daughter was born. Next thing I know, I'm pre-diabetic, I have hypertension. I knew something had to change. Discipline. I, like many of you, have faced many challenges in your career, in your family, in your life, in your faith. How did you attack them? How did you approach them? How did you solve them, hopefully? It all had to have some degree of discipline. I'm also asked, how did you found and start a tech business that lasted over 25 years? Discipline. I was committed to it, enjoyed technology, didn't enjoy some aspects of it, but knew it was necessary. Discipline. Our podcast mission, how do we use discipline to better ourselves and society? Join me, please, as I talk to interesting people and discuss how they use discipline in their family and their passion and their careers and how it helped them. Our podcast vision, growth through learning from others. Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. It'll be light and serious. Join us, please. Thank you for consideration. Oh, hello, Bea Caillet. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm so excited to talk to you. So when you're 25, you get diagnosed with this autoimmune arthritis type disease, and your first symptoms were around 8 and through your teenage years. What was it? Explain what relief it was when you were finally diagnosed and you understood yourself that much more.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Joe. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you all over from Paris, France.
Yes.
So that's why you guys will probably hear the French accent. I
Only a
hope you
little.
will understand my English. So anyway, so my diagnosis, so yeah, I was 25, and in fact, it was a huge relief to finally have a name on all the pain that I had gone through all those years since the age of 8, because doctors usually would tell me that it was either, growing up, when you grow up, sometimes you have muscle pain because it's the fact that you are growing, or it would be you're not doing enough sports, or you're overworking out, or always something like that. But in the end, it went to a point that it was so difficult for me to, because so the condition that I have, the autoimmune disease, is called ankylosing spondylitis. And so the less I move, the more I am in pain. So sleeping at night when I was in huge flare-ups back in the day. It was totally impossible for me to sleep. 2 hours was the most I could take, but I had to go to work the next day. So that was really hard, and so it took them a year with on me on this state before finally getting a diagnosis. The first rheumatologist that I consulted told me, "Oh, you just need to change your cushion. We use the cushion you sleep on at night, and you will."
Mattress.
Uh, not even my mattress,
Oh,
the pillow. I mean,
oh, the
the
pillow.
the pillow, and everything was forgotten. And well, absolutely not. They
Wow.
also sent me to see a psychiatrist, therapist, because it
Right.
was all in my head, or stress or whatever, something really kind of in my was mental illness. So I just went to see this therapist, and I said, okay, I'm here because I have back pain, especially at night, and I can't sleep anymore. I can barely walk. So, well, we'll figure out, because apparently it's supposed to be in my head. So we will find something out. And then, so I went to see her for a few months until finally I got the diagnosis. And so I remember the last session I had with her. I was super happy because I told
Mm.
her I finally have a diagnosis. And but then I told her what was the diagnosis, she was, oh my God, you probably need a therapy now to
Mhm.
to help. Maybe you need help with the diagnosis, to process it. But when you spend so many years in pain and so
Mm.
much fatigue and everything, and you finally know that you are not crazy and it's
Mm.
not just in your head, in the end, it was really a huge relief. So,
Mm.
no, yeah, I told her, sorry, but I don't need any more therapy. I'm feeling so great now that I have the diagnosis, even though it didn't really, it didn't change the pain. But, when you finally have a name, then you can try to find the right treatment. It also took many years, but that's another another story again. But yeah, the first relief was the diagnosis.
So you say you first started experiencing these symptoms at around 8 and then through your teenage years. So during your teenage years, you could only get 2 hours of sleep at night?
No, it was when I was 8. The first symptom that I got was something with my heel. So sometimes I couldn't put my foot down, and I barely could walk. My mother remembers here it very clearly that sometimes she would have to carry me because I was in too much
Wow.
pain. So, but I never got a diagnosis. So that was when I was around 8, 9, 10. Then the pain went away, and then I started to have some pain, back pain, during the night. But it wouldn't bother me that much. I didn't have a good sleep because it would bother me, but not to the point that I wouldn't sleep at all. It's
Mm.
just when I first started my career, my professional life. I was a late bloomer, so no. I mean, I studied very long, so I only started working at 24, and that's probably the stress of starting my career in the. I was working in a CPA firm, and it was a very stressful life. And also, I finally went away from my parents, and I was living alone. So that's why the doctors keep telling me that it was all stress or in my head, because I was so supposedly very stressed out of the fact that I was finally leaving my parents, and also living on my own, and also starting my career. But I would say, okay, yeah, I'm stressed with this career thing, but because it was all during the turnover, the taxes, it was the big rush when I first started. So yeah, it was stressful, but I knew that it was not just the stress. Yeah, stress is one of my triggers, but it's not the only reason for that. So
And once you're diagnosed, they put you on painkillers for 10 or 11 years.
yeah, and I should already, if I had, followed everything that I was told, I should still be taking all those drugs, because I was told that I would suffer till the the end of my life. So,
Wow.
uh, but for one thing led to another, because I have suffered from many, many side effects of all these drugs,
Hmm.
because I took very, very strong painkillers. Biotherapy, or also called, yeah, I'm not sure in how they are called in English, but in French it's anti-TNF, which so it's biotherapy. So you injections that you take each month, to cut out the immune system, because it is going against you in a way. So you just they just cut out the immune system, and but then without an immune system that is very strong, you can get you have trouble, when you have a wound, a very simple wound, you can't really, recover from it, or, a virus can also, get into a general infection very easily. And
Wow.
I also had a very, very strong allergy to one of the biotherapy. Ended up in the emergency room. And I usually, when you go to the emergency room in France, you have to wait for hours to get, to finally get to see a doctor. But for me, no, when they saw my state, because I had the injection, and I had a large, super large reaction. My leg was double, and so I just in just 15 minutes I was in. And so yeah, and also I had very small surgery for my nose, because I had trouble breathing. So yeah, my northern throat doctor, he told me I should have surgery. So that's what I had. It was supposed to be a very, very small surgery, and I was supposed to be up and going at but 2 days later. But in the end, it all went uh, very, very, very complicated. 4 weeks after that, I was still not back at work.
Oh,
And yeah, it was, he totally admitted that he didn't know that with this biotherapy thing, he shouldn't have the surgery, because they're really not compatible. But I had warned everybody. I even asked my rheumatologist, is it okay if I have no surgery, in order to breathe better and everything? So everybody told me, yeah, that's okay. Even, why are you asking? Because it's kind of like it was a dumb question, because
right.
it was such a small surgery. Why are you even asking that? But in the end, it really ended very, very badly.
Mm.
And so yeah, the surgeon who operated, he admitted it, that he kind of had the scare of how the scare of his life. So and he told me that he would remember this
Wow.
all his life. So yeah, so after having so many things like that, I started thinking, okay, maybe I should try and, try to reduce at least a little bit the medication that I'm taking. And like I said, I figured out by myself that stress was a huge trigger. So I thought, okay, maybe if I try to reduce the stress, maybe I will be able to reduce the medication. And so I went in library and everywhere, and I started documenting myself on how to manage stress, and then that's how everything started, and that's how I started my own natural healing journey, and now I've been medication free for 3 years already. I'm so happy.
Abs- Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, I believe you saw a functional doctor,
Yeah.
and also there was a situation in your life where you had a bad personal relationship that was
Oh
adding
yeah.
a lot of stress. So the
Hmm.
combination of those really brought you to the newer chapter of your life here that you're living so healthily.
Yeah, but in
So,
fact, the weird thing is that I never really had an unhealthy life
ah,
because, I come from a family of foodies and French,
nice.
and my mother always, she always did everything herself and in the
Mm,
kitchen, home cooked meals every day, very high quality ingredients and everything. So and when I was living by myself, also as as a young worker, I did the same. So that's the weird part of it. If
mm,
is that yeah, sometimes I do indulge in junk food or processed food because it's some of the things are kind of yummy or whatever. So or you're socializing, whatever. Well, but when it's just from time to time, I believe it's not that important. But yeah, the weird thing is, and I always had all my life very healthy food, a healthy diet. But I didn't know, I had absolutely no idea that I was gluten sensitive. That's what my functional medicine doctor, found out because I had a blood test, and then also had to remove other food stuff like eggs, only chicken eggs. I can have quail eggs and other kind of eggs, but chicken eggs and cow milk, cow dairy, and some other things. So it makes my diary much more
mm.
hard to to do well. To It's a challenge when you have to
Yes.
remove all of this, especially when you're French, because we have
Mm.
bakeries in Paris. Every block has a bakery. So
Absolutely, and Europe does such a better job than here in the States with bakeries. It's gotta be, you've gotta maintain certain minimums, and, my father's from Italy, and it's similar, and the food is just so wonderful and rich. So, what made you go to the functional doctor? What, because that was really the, key point of your life.
Well, so like I said, the first thing that I started realized that so the stress. So I went to the library and I was seeking for a book about some books about how to manage stress, and I found this book, amazing book from a French doctor. I think it's already translated. It's already also translated in English, but I don't know the exact name. I could tell you. It's a book by where this doctor explain how to manage stress, anxiety, and depression without any medication and without even going to a therapy. And so he explained that in this book that even bipolar people can be off all medication thanks to omega-3 supplements and also workout and I think EFT or something like that. I don't recall exactly. But I thought, okay, I've kind of been kind of depressed pretty much all of my life. I was at one point, maybe in my 20s, if I recall correctly, I was on Zoloft and some stuff like that. But also many side effects, so I quit
Yeah.
that. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to try that, because I've always, that was not the first thing, the thing that I was looking for, but by accident, because I tried the omega-3 supplement, but it talks about 2 grams of omega-3 a day, which is enormous. Usually when you see on the packages, you should be take like 6 times less than that.
Hmm.
So it was, oh my god. I'm really going to trust this guy, because he was very famous. Now he died, but he passed away, but is very, very famous in France. So I said to myself, okay, so I really need to trust him, because it's weird to take something at a proportion that is 6 times what is usually recommended on the box. So, but I took that, and 2 or 3 weeks after that, my mood was completely different.
Wow.
The slight depression that I suffered pretty much all my life went away. But the thing that I really, really realized, what he made me realize, it's that he told us in this book that even bipolar people should be able to be off medication with
Wow.
that. I thought, wow, that's amazing. And also, there's something wrong here, because if some doctors know about that, how come? Because I know at least 2 people who are bipolar, and they have medication. They have really bad side effects, and they suffer from fatigue, and it's really hard for them to have a normal life. So I thought, okay, so there's something here. Maybe if it can work for bipolar people to be off medication with supplements, or maybe with food, because he also explains what we all need. We have a deficiency of omega-3, because the food even the meat, that we all talk about the fact that omega-3 come from fatty fish, but no, it should also come from eggs and meat,
Hmm.
because in many years ago, we would mostly eat wild animals, and those animals would have a much kind of they also would eat, not the rainbow, but you know what I mean. they
Yeah.
they would eat much more, and they would have a food that was rich in omega-3. So in the end, humans would also get the omega-3 from the meat. And so that's what he explains, that our food now is completely, uh, you know, uh, also deficient in omega-3. So that's the whole explanation. So I thought, okay, there's really something that I should explore around that. And I thought, if this is possible with my depression, maybe it's possible with arthritis. So I went to the local library. Was not enough at that point, so I registered at the American library, because you have so much more
Oh,
documentation.
really?
So, yeah, in English, and Americans are so much more open-minded when it comes to holistic health. Well, in France, no,
Hmm.
that's not a thing. So really, and gluten-free in France is still very, very new, and and many people think it's just something like a trend, or
Fat.
yeah. So yeah, we are like 20 years behind you, but. So I went to the American Library, and I read so many books, and I really was convinced at that time that okay, I need to try something with that. And there's with food, but I really didn't know how to handle that and how to go from there. And magically, I don't know, maybe the universe, God, however you call that, but when I was ready, like 1 or 2 months later, I had a friend who told me about her doctor, the nutritionist, the functional nutritionist that I went to see, and it changed my life. So
Wow. Absolutely wonderful. And you go on to create this incredible blog, Bea. I love it. The photo, you make me so hungry looking at these wonderful,
thank
wonderful
you.
spaces. Do you do the photography for them? Because the photography is wonderful as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. Because I'm definitely working on my photographies. Yeah, I do
Oh, good.
everything on the blog. Absolutely
Oh,
everything. I create the recipes. I write everything in
wow.
the two languages, English and
Yes,
French.
French and English. Yeah.
And I take also the pictures and everything. And also that's I answer to my readers. And I have to say that I really, really love my English speaking audience. They are amazing. Yeah.
It's absolutely wonderful.
If I'm still blogging today, it's really thanks to my English speaking readers. They are the comments they have sent me since the beginning they are so amazing. That's what I keep doing this. So yeah.
No, that's wonderful. And something that I was unfamiliar with is AIP. It's the Autoimmune Protocol diet.
Yeah.
It's relatively new. I never heard that term before. So a lot of your blogs are this is not AIP, this is, and it's a new concept that I'm unfamiliar with.
Yeah, but in fact, it's American.
Ah, it's
Yeah.
American. I
Yeah,
see.
it's an American doctor, Dr. Sarah Ballantyne, who created this protocol for people with autoimmune disease. So it's an elimination diet. And so, in fact, yeah, so to explain why, even though I have never been on AIP, so after seeing my nutritionist, the functional medicine doctor, when he told me you have to remove all of these things, that I was kind of really lost. And it was at the very end of 2017, right before the holidays. So yeah, I
Mm.
started only in January 2018 because the holidays without gluten and everything, it was way too hard for me. So, but I was lost because, like I told you, in France, especially in 2018, gluten, dairy, egg free, there was nothing. So
Mm.
I went online, and thankfully, thanks to my English, I finally had the idea to surf on the English speaking things. That's how I found out about this AIP that was kind of close to what I thought it was very, very, even more strict than when I was that my own diet, but without the eggs, gluten, and also
Gary?
dairy free. That was kind of close because paleo which is much more famous, has eggs in it, and also
Mm.
Whole30 with eggs. So when you have to remove eggs, it's not easy. So that's why I ended up, joining some communities, AIP communities on Facebook, and also it was really nice at the beginning to hear, all the testimonies from everyone that thanks to diet and lifestyle changes, they were also healing their autoimmune, because you really need that at first, because it's not you start your new diet, you go to bed on the next day, woohoo, no. No, it's for me it took almost 2 years to be
Ah,
able to quit all medications. And it was super, super, super slow. So
it's
at first I thought, okay, that's no use, and I miss my bread, I miss my cheese. So I felt like crying all the time because I thought, okay, the only thing that I'm positive in this is that I'm losing weight, but that's not what I was looking for. So yeah, but no, in the end, it was all worth it. So I found out about the AIP through looking for recipes or ideas or maybe more support more than anything else. And then shortly after I had created my blog, I thought, okay, it was during lockdown. And, kind of everybody around the world, we were kind of all sad and we all needed some comfort food or whatever. And so I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to try to create banana bread for AIP and for AIPers or those who are on AIP wants to, just to be nice. I thought,
Mm.
I really thought that it would be impossible because there are so much food that they can't have because it's grain free, gluten free, grain free, egg free, dairy free, and
Mm.
nut free. So to bake something without all of this is it's a challenge.
Yes.
So, but I tried, and my banana bread went viral. So, so then I kept creating more recipes for them. So that's how it started. It's really.
It's absolutely wonderful. So a year after your blog, you decide to become a nutritional health coach, but you took it a step further. You actually got your certificate at the Le Cordon Bleu in London.
Well, actually, it was not in London. It's
Ah,
Le Cordon Bleu London who
I see.
teaches because it's online. That's when I told you gluten free in Paris is still at the very beginning because
Mm.
in fact I live very very close to the Le Cordon Bleu Paris. But they don't offer the same thing. With this certificate in plant-based patisserie, we had a module where we baked some gluten-free bread, and that's so. I went to this because it was the closest thing to my own diet, but they still don't have the equivalent, the same program in Paris. So it was, and it's not even in person. We were from all over the world registering for this. I think maybe one or two English people only. But that was it's incredibly challenging.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because also there's when you go on a class like that from home, the teachers they don't realize that we don't have the same utensils
Ah,
and we don't have the same super large fridge or super large freezer or a super large oven, everything. So so many times I had to move everything around in my house, and I that was super crazy, but very very challenging. Also because it's really hard. Yeah. Yeah, the reputation I guess for the Cordon Bleu of the Cordon Bleu, and yeah, it was very challenging, but incredible memories also. I'm very proud to have achieved that.
there's so much butter used, right? In a lot of the French cooking, a lot of butter, a lot of
I was in the baking, yeah,
and
but
baking.
in baking, yeah, but France is would be when it comes to butter. There's France is divided in two. There's the north with Brittany. Brittany, yes, they're obsessed with butter and butter, salty butter. Butter that doesn't have salt is not butter for them.
Mm,
So yeah, so that's the Brittany where the crepes and galettes come from. Yeah.
crepes, yeah.
So yeah, Brittany will cook with salty butter, but if you go in the south, southern France, like Provence, it's olive oil only. So and I grew up, in the middle, so so for me, butter is not something the thing that I miss the most. But
Mm.
I miss cheese and bread much more.
Mm. It's the same thing in Italy. The northern Italy uses a lot more butter and dairy, whereas in South, where my father's from, it's all olive oil. It's very little dairy. It's very interesting how that distinction is
Oh.
made. Yeah, and I think the Le Cordon Bleu eventually they'll have to capitulate and make an offering that you seek. They'll have to do it eventually, don't you think?
Yeah, I think, and anyway, Chef Julie Walsh, who the English teacher chef who taught us the whole program, she told us that they were working on the gluten-free program because we just had one module in the plant-based program that was gluten-free, but the program was not gluten free, so I went completely off my diet for the 3 months of the of the class. But never mind. So they're working on that. But in London, I don't know in Paris, but I think they will have to come to it anyway because uh, they have to. I think.
There's just too many people that need to be gluten free here in the States as well. I mean, as you get older, your body can't tolerate it as much, I believe, is the theory.
Yeah, but the thing is, I keep hearing that. I haven't experienced this myself, but I keep hearing this from some of my readers. Those that are only gluten sensitive. I'm not talking about
Mm.
celiacs, which is
Oh,
different.
celiac, yeah,
Celiacs, those celiacs absolutely can't have any gluten.
right.
But those who are gluten sensitive, I keep hearing from many Americans that they can't have gluten in the US because it's, GMOs and so many pesticides. I'm sorry. I hope you're not offended. I'm just telling that what I'm hearing from
Absolutely.
them, not changing. So they tell me that in the US, they can't have gluten, but when they travel to Europe, especially France and Italy, they are okay with our gluten.
Yes.
Go figure.
I've heard
So yeah,
this.
I think it's probably GMOs and hybriding, and also the pesticides. We have in Europe we have much more strict regulations with that.
Yes.
So that's what I keep hearing from those who have a gluten sensitivity. Some of them are fine in Europe. So yeah, probably also why we were still behind with this is also that we are less poisoned, if I may say. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. And so now, Bay, you've completely devoted your life, your career now is helping others with these tolerances and trying to help them live a healthier life with a better diet.
Yeah, because that's what I've been through all this, and
Yeah.
I think the first thing I want to do is testify, and because I've been told that I would suffer all my life, and but in the end, if I may say, it was just a bunch of lies.
Right.
Because it's a
Mm.
whole it's all system, economic system. When
Right.
you get prescription, you will pay for something. But if you heal yourself with food and lifestyle, well, you don't need any medication, so
Mm.
you don't need to go to the doctor, and you don't need to go to the pharmacy. So and the biotherapy and everything that I was taking, it is worth thousands and thousands of euros, and I know in the US it's even more expensive.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
thousands of dollars. So yeah, the labs, they want you to keep buying that. So it's not interesting for them if you go off that.
Yeah, unfortunately, they make more money
Yeah.
when you're sick. Yeah, it's hopefully things can change and they can redevote their energies to more positive things, like you mentioned eating the rainbow and getting a correct diet. You have great quotes, Bay, on your Instagram site, and one of them I really liked. It's so simple, and I don't know why people just don't adhere. But you say, "Don't eat food you don't like."
Ah, yeah, that's true. Because I have experienced that. Because when you read so much books and everything, all the you listen to all the documentaries, and when you don't see, effects that I told you it was super super slow. I was always second guessing myself. I thought I should try things harder, and maybe I should be on a raw food diet or something, even more strict than what my doctor had told me. And I remember that I had read somewhere that I should eat Brazilian nuts.
Brazil
So,
nuts.
but yeah, Brazil nuts. So I went to the grocery store. I bought them, and I don't like that. But I thought, okay, but it's supposed to be very very good for my arthritis, so I'm going to keep eating it. And then I kept eating it. But and then I think a few months after that, because I didn't see any, really big effects. I thought, okay, my doctor only tested me on a few, like 22 foods or something like that. So I had a second test with 270 foods. And
Wow.
I thought, okay, with this I will be covering everything, and and then that's how I found out that one of the biggest intolerances that I had was Brazil nuts. So
Really?
okay, and also oysters. I hate oysters since I was a little child, and I'm so happy now. I can say that I can't have them because I am intolerant to oysters. So yeah, in fact, and I know that some doctors, scientists, and I also heard it was in our program also at IIN, that we when you taste something, how do you call that, the taste you have in the mouth, the papilles, in French. Well,
Pepin. Yeah.
no. The fact that when you taste something, you can say, "Oh, that I like it," or it's your body telling you, it's giving
Right.
you a signal. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't. It's
Mm.
not for you because for some reason you're intolerant to this. So yeah, don't eat food
Yeah.
you don't like.
It's
Well,
that's
unless the only thing you like is junk food, of course.
yes, don't take it in the wrong direction. That's for
Yeah.
sure. So Bay, I always tell this story about I started my business when I was a younger man in my 20s in the 90s, and I wasn't paying attention to my diet and I was working too hard, and I ended up gaining a lot of weight. I was well over 340 pounds, much more than I needed to be. And the doctor said to me, if you don't lose the weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. You're not going to be around for that. And so I made a drastic lifestyle change. I started eating correctly, exercising, and within a year or so, I lost over 100 pounds. And people always ask me, how did you lose it? Like it's some secret. And I always say discipline. I just got focused and I got disciplined, and that's how I lost it. How does discipline play a role in your life, Bay?
Well, you're probably not going to like my answer
Why?
because, yeah, no, I don't really like the word discipline because,
Ah.
because I think it reminds me in the French language, discipline is really used when you are at school. Teachers will tell you you
Mm.
shouldn't do that. So that's not, you're bad. So yeah, I think the discipline really reminds me that teachers or parents are telling you, yeah, you should do this and that and this way, and so that's probably why I don't like the word that I usually use is willpower, especially in the English word willpower. The in French it's not a powerful word like that, but in English I think like willpower, it gives you a sense of you have superpower. And I think it comes more from within than from someone, telling you what you should or shouldn't do.
Mm.
If you have willpower, it comes from you. And yeah, I have a superpower. Yeah, but my willpower really, really helped me. That's for sure.
Very interesting. I didn't take that into consideration. I often do hear that people equate discipline with teachers, discipline, punishing,
Yeah.
and kind of military, almost militant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no wrong answer. I use discipline to do something, and maybe it's a language difference there, but I think willpower is a synonym. It just belongs very closely to discipline. But
Yeah, I know
I
that's
think so.
the two words kind of mean the same thing, but but willpower, you have the power,
Right.
in the name. So yeah, I love that. In fact, I have used this in a conference I gave a few years ago about it was about the impact of being having an autoimmune disease in the workplace in France. That's a whole different story. And I said in English, they have an amazing word, willpower.
Yes, I know. Like in German, for example, they have a couple. They have no, and then they have another word meaning no. That's no. It's very firm. So sometimes languages, you know, have a better way of expressing what you mean. But it's very interesting the difference there. Bea Caillet, what motivates you?
What motivates me? When I hear that my blog is helping people on their own natural healing journey. Because to tell you the truth, I have quit a job that I had. How do you say that? Job security for life.
Right. Yes.
It was not possible to get fired at all because I was
Wow.
working for the government. So, and I had a good salary, and I just went, I took the leap without a parachute, just woohoo! And I was absolutely not earning, like not even close to half that I was earning before. So that's really the only thing that is motivating me is hearing from my readers that I am helping them on their own natural healing journey. So, and when they tell me that it's helping with their autoimmune disease, when they get more into details than just saying, "Oh, thank you for the recipe; it was delicious." When I really had the whole impact on their health, oh, that's sometimes I cry of happy tears. When I read that. It just, it's hard to explain the effect when also when it's from someone on the other side of the world.
Mm.
Yeah, so that keeps me going. What keeps me going?
Yeah, and you also make a point that I've heard some other. Well, you have another great quote. I guess that's the way to say it. You say the quote on Instagram is each person is unique, and no one diet works for everyone. Experiment for yourself to find out what works for you. You
Yeah.
can't kind of give a blanket. Everybody should be doing this.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the whole thing we learn about at IIN. But in the end, I was very very happy to hear that in fact they had the same point of view that what I had already experienced for myself, because like I said, when I was still documenting myself and everything, I tried some things on myself, and
Mm.
when I told you maybe I should go on a raw food diet. Oh, absolutely not.
Mm.
Because I was reading from some people that say, well, everybody should be on a raw food diet because it's just an example, because
Mm.
with all kind of diets, they will most of the time they will tell you everybody has to be. Well, no. And for sure, and I was really second guessing myself each time that I was cooking my food. I was and also feeling that maybe feeling guilty about that, and So it was really starting to create orthorexia. I was getting, it's, because when you read so many things and it's telling you you have to do that and that's good for everyone, and then you try it on yourself, but in the end you see that, well, no, and in fact, after a few months of that, I found out in Ayurveda. So it's ancient Indian medicine. And also now that I'm documenting myself on Chinese traditional Chinese medicine, they
Wow.
both say that no, raw food is not for everyone. And I think even Chinese medicine is even much stronger on this when they say that they have a say that say what has not been cooked by the saucepan will be cooked by your body. So you really need to have a super what they call the fire, digestive fire, and that's what I don't have. So uh, no, raw food is not for everyone. So that's
Mm.
what I'm trying to say. And also, vegan or carnivore is not for everyone. Well, and also when it's interesting. Something that I really like. Also, I have learned about that at IIN, but also from other French speakers, because some naturopath and also I have heard this to many places, that it's interesting to have a look at your own family,
Mm.
not just your parents, but very much further than that, in your ancestors. Where did they live? Did they live by the sea, where they would eat a lot of fish? Would they live in the countryside with only, I don't know, vegetables and fruits and stuff like that? And or like my family on both sides, both my parents, I have generations. All my ancestors were they were raising cows. So I have it in my genes that I
Mm.
really need to eat meat. And sometimes, yeah, I have reduced my meat intake because I feel that for dinner I don't eat meat, rarely anyway, but I do need meat, so I listen to my body, because that's also in my genes, because I have so many ancestors. When you go in my genealogy, and like 300 years, they were all raising cows. So that's on both sides. So really, it's in my genes, and I'm not really a big fish person. So yeah, and that's some. There has been some research about that, and if you go to I don't know, Alaska, from people who have always been there and eating a lot of fish.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if they would be so good with with beef. Yeah, so yeah, you have to also see what is your own bio individuality, because
Mm.
of your ancestors, where you come from, uh, and everyone is unique. Even my mother and my brother, they don't have the same sensitivities that I have. So
Mm. Yeah, that is it's your tolerances. It's some's genetic and there's some environmental. I guess we just don't know. What are your thoughts on the Mediterranean diet?
I think, yeah, it's a pretty good one. Yeah. I think my own diet is quite close to it, anyway, in
Mm.
fact. So yeah, because the thing with Mediterranean diet is, well, extra virgin olive oil, much more than butter.
Yes.
Yeah. So and I also, you have a little bit of meat or fish, but then you have a whole rainbow around the
Right. A lot of
plate.
Greens.
A lot
Yeah.
of greens, and so yeah, instead of what's the maybe the more standard French diet would be, a large part, maybe half of the plate would be with meat, and only the other half with vegetables.
Mm.
It's much more large part, and I think yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Hmm. Bea, how do you measure success?
What do you mean by measure success? What kind of success?
You tell me. I leave it open. How do you measure success for yourself?
For myself, I don't know. Well, for my blog right now, I measure success with my the traffic that I have, the
Mm.
audience, and also the fact that well. For me, when a recipe is successful, when my readers can make it. If I'm the only one who has success with with it in the kitchen, it's not a success. So yeah, when it comes to that, yeah, but usually I don't really measure success. I
Hmm.
just I take things how they come. So
Very interesting. I was looking at some of the recipes, and I was looking at very simple ingredients, but you say that the most important ingredient I didn't see in a lot of those is love.
yeah. Oh, you heard that? Yeah. Well, it's not easy to put it in a recipe card. Well, don't forget love. Yeah, because I keep hearing from so many people that well, I try my mother's recipes, but
Mm.
even when I follow it really exactly all the steps she gives me, and she never ends up the same way, and I always answer them well because you need to cook it with this in the same love that a mother will cook for a child. So yeah, I think so, and that's what I try to do even for myself. I'm not a mother yet, but even when you cook for yourself, you should love what I think there's yeah some kind of the I don't know, maybe some vibrations or some
Mm.
when you put all your heart in it, and you try to have a beautiful plate, and you yeah, it really changes everything. So
Well, Bea Caillet, just an absolute pleasure. I was so excited when you accepted this. I love your blog. I love what you're doing. You've made some bold changes in your life. You've turned things around. And not only are you helping yourself, but you're helping others as well. It's just a wonderful and really the trait of a remarkable person. How can we get in touch with you?
well, you can find me on my blog, on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I think that's it.
Go Healthy with Bea, BEA.com. Go Healthy with Bea, www. It's right. I'll make sure it's all in the show notes on Facebook, on Instagram, and Pinterest. Again, great pictures. Your blog is there as well. And I really enjoy your time today. Thank you so much, Bea. I wish you well. And if I'm in Paris, I'll make sure we get a cup of coffee. Well, maybe a glass of wine.
Oh yeah, for sure. In front of the Eiffel Tower.
Wonderful, wonderful. You be well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure to talk to you.
Be well. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Would you like to financially support the podcast? You can go to our Patreon site. Consider $5, $10, or $20 a month. There's all kind of plans that we have there. There's like a one-time payment. What is this podcast episode worth to you? $25, $50, $100, $500, $1,000, $5,000. You be the judge. You can go to our PayPal account to do that as well. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.